Happy Halloween, friends! This is Jazz. Well, actually, it is later than Halloween when you see this, but this is a late Halloween special that I've promised you guys now. Today, so this Halloween's Jazz review, or your choice review, is going to be Monster by Mistake. And when I say that, I don't mean the whole series. I mean just the pilot, Monster by Mistake. Now, technically, this has a haunted theme, and it's in a haunted house, so I said, you know what, close enough, and I remember watching it years ago as a child, and I wanted to watch it again as an adult. Now, there was one other episode in a cartoon that I was thinking of reviewing. I'll tell you it now anyway. It was Hey Arnold's Ghost Bride. But I watched both of the, episodes, and I decided this just had more in it. It was longer, and it gave some more reasons for me to review it in a way, but mostly it'll be a technical standpoint in this. Like, honestly, as an adult, it's not scary in a way, but it's more nostalgia. Now, as you know, the series is about I think it's an 8-year-old boy. It could be 7. I think he was 7 in the pilot, or boy named Warren, who, during one night of going into a haunted house looking for the bully, Billy Castleman, is stricken down by a spell from the Jewel of Fenrath when he is tricked to reading it to free Gargoyle. The name is hard to pronounce. But instead of doing it correctly, he sneezes right at the end, which activates the spell that turns him into a monster when he sneezes. That's the highlight of it, pretty much. But the interesting thing is, this episode aired on October 26, 1996. Almost, just a little bit, a month and a half away from being 3 years till the actual second episode of the series actually happened, which happened on September, I forget the actual day, but it was 1999. So almost whole 3 years till the next thing of Monster by Mistake. Now, I'm more reviewing it. I will tell the story a bit in a way, but I'm also going to just talk about the quality of the visuals and the acting, and pretty much that's the biggest thing I get out of it, right? As I said, did I like it? Well, yeah, it wasn't spectacular. I mean, not like some shows that will get you laughing and really finding jokes and everything, but it wasn't horrible, especially for the time it was released. It actually, to me, anyway, the style of animation, that's the best word I should be using, wasn't bad. Was okay. It was more, how do I say it? More clay style animation, pretty much. In a sense, it has to be to make it work, I think, in that time frame. Like, the monster, for example, it's basic, but it still works fine. Like, just a tall blue monster with, how do I explain it? Will this say that there's some similar features to the main character who turns into a monster when he turns into a monster, like the color of his eyes, for example, and there's some facial features that is similar, but he's still disguised enough that no one would know it was him if he didn't. Well, though, okay, if anything at all, that is one complaint, and it's it's stupid, is why it's a complaint. He changes in appearance. Why doesn't his voice change any at all? I mean, imagine a big, giant monster goes up to get you, suddenly talks like this. Hi, guys! Like a 7-year-old girl or something. Okay, I suppose it would be scary because they were tall and everything, but that would sort of take away some of the intimidation, don't you think? I mean, I sort of just wish that when his name is Warren Patterson, by the way. Yeah, I probably should have said that from the beginning. When he's in monster form, I actually love the times when he's just quiet. When he just does not speak. And I don't mean it all. I'm not saying that his voice is grating. That's not what I mean by that. I mean, when he's his normal size, his normal self, that's fine. That's really good, actually. Really, workable, actually. But when he's the monster, he takes away the intimidation. I mean, come on. Well, okay, what am I saying? In the end, it really doesn't take away the intimidation, but just to me, I mean, even to someone older than 7 years old, maybe, it would take away the intimidation. Honestly, like, that's the really, one of the only complaints I have is that. I mean, it does an okay job introducing the characters, alright? And I mean the main characters that matter, like Tracy, Warren's brother, Warren, Johnny, the ghost. Which I'm surprised, I forgot they introduced him in that episode. But they introduced him by that house that Gargle moved in his servant, which never got a name in that episode. I forget his name, I might have to put it above because it wasn't mentioned. Those two are in the series, commonly. So, they introduced them, sort of. They're probably the only characters that I didn't get to know enough about. I mean, Johnny, to be fair, haven't learned too much either, but you learned enough to relate to him in a little way. Like, he's a really, really nice guy, but he will not put his foot, okay, I know he's a ghost, so that's stupid to say. Okay, I'll take that away. He won't let anyone boss him around. Like, he's, what do they call it? Assertive. That's the right word. He loves to play the trumpet, and he's really good at it. And he's a guy who, he will go for justice, as I said. And the same boat of him being assertive, he'll do what is right. Like, when the kids first come in, he does try to scare them off, thinking, because after what happened with Gargle, he didn't want any more intruders, but after, like, not long after that, he just shows them he's a good guy. Right? And when they tell him what Gargle did, he goes and he tries to put him down for what he did to those kids, as he said. So he's a guy who knows right from wrong, pretty much, and is a stand-up guy. Warren, it starts off as a real chicken, like, not standing up to Billy Castleman, who is just, to be fair, he's more of a generic bully. That's just the right word, generic bully. But this is the first pilot. Pilot 4 is something that comes 3 years from now. I think he does get fleshed out more later. I apologize, I haven't watched the rest of the series in a long time. I don't think I even watched the full series, but I know the gist and the basics of it. But as of now, he's just a generic bully, no real development besides, like, just saying, oh, well, you aren't going to stick up for me stealing things, running away, and that. But anyway, Warren won't stand up to Billy. It's Tracy who wants to be the assertive big sister and help Warren get, like, the car back. And, yeah, okay, I'll just say it. The only real complaint was what I did mention before, right? But there are one or two other things that sort of just makes me go, huh? Like, for example, when the spell goes wrong, and the first transformation into a monster, there really wasn't that much of there was more of a reaction from Warren himself than from Tracy or anyone else. But even with Warren, it was only for, like, 2 minutes? Not even that. Tracy was more surprised, but then suddenly, oh, let's go fix things. And even when she isn't able to fix things right away, she does not have the biggest deal. And also, Tracy's reaction to Johnny, my God, like, what has she gone through in her life to make her so almost nonchalant about these things? She's like, 9 years old, 10 years old in this. Maybe she's only 8 at that time. Maybe she's whatever. But she's a year or two older than Warren. But she's a child. She should be more afraid of things, especially when, on TV, okay. If she was watching them on TV, okay. But in real life, that would scare the crap out of an adult. In fact, the monster scared the hell out of Billy. I mean, come on. Like, what has happened in Tracy's life that made those things so easy to confront? I mean, okay, obviously, us watching it on TV and in cartoon form, oh, it's no big deal. In fact, it's kind of funny. But if that happened to me in real life, I think I'd be going the opposite direction really quickly, no matter how friendly the ghost was. I mean, Warren even fainted. Okay, some people are a fainter, as Johnny said. Oh, great, a fainter, not a runner. But I would have some sort of reaction between fainting or running. Tracy's reactions to these things weren't really normal. Sure, as I said, when her brother first turned into a monster, she was a little bit surprised. And even with the ghost, she may have been a little bit surprised. And I might be wrong. I said that's just the way I saw it. Her reaction wasn't adequate enough for what she was shown, and at her age. And I don't know. I guess it did affect me a little more than I went on, but it was just ridiculous. Like, that would be just like if I went up to Michael Myers and was like, okay, see you tomorrow. Do you think that would go very well? Actually, no. Now, to be fair, I suppose you could argue when it comes to what happened with Warren, he is still Warren. Yes, he's a big, tall monster, but he still has Warren's personality, which is kind of ridiculous, right? But so does Warren's personality. She knows it's her brother. The ghost is a little less explainable because she did not know this guy, and she is lucky he didn't turn out to be an axe murdering ghost. I mean, come on, like how often when things like that happen is the monster or whatever it is not harmful? Even in things like SpongeBob, the Flying Dutchman, sort of harmful depending on the episode, more frightening intent, more ill intent. I'm trying to think what else. Okay, I'll just go for movies. Freddy, Jason, Michael. Anytime you go into a monster, not very often is the monster just have perfectly nice intentions. So, honestly, yeah, Tracy should have a little more of a fear complex. I mean, she's lucky Johnny turned out to be a swell guy, right? And, like all in good nature and everything. Hell, I'm spoilers. As I said, I probably should have put this, and I will in text at the beginning of this. They end up letting him move in with them. Okay, not the whole family, just Warren and Tracy, yeah. Yeah, who cares what their parents think? I mean, their parents would have a normal reaction if they found this stuff out. I mean, the fact that their son is now a monster, those kids are letting a ghost move into their attic. Okay, to be fair, yes, Warren had more of a normal reaction to these scenarios, but by the end, I mean, okay, technically Johnny helped protect the kids, saved the jewel so they can get it back to help reverse Warren. So he did kind of prove to be a really stand-up guy. So I suppose that is a little bit better that they got to know him a little bit more. But still, anyone can act and do something for you, right? And then turn the other cheek and stab you in the back. Okay, I know some of this is disgusting the way I'm forming it, but it's just, they knew him for half hour tops. Because, yes, we see Johnny before they do, and we know he isn't a bad guy, but that's the audience viewing it, right? I know a lot of my things about it is more of the characters in this situation, and that's fine with me. Sure, it's fine with you. But let's just get on to the villains for a few minutes before I get more to the closing. They're villains. We know that Gargoyle had been trapped by a spell into a little fishbowl thing. And it's not a literal fishbowl, it's like nothing to get out of. Pretty much, it's a round ball kind of like a hamster wheel minus the little lines on that. Pretty much is just the way. I'll just say the hamster wheel, even though it's a fishbowl. It makes no sense. And the sidekick, that's what he's called in this pilot anyway, is a bumbling idiot. He trips over a wooden thing and drops the jewel out of the window into a truck driving by. And he runs past the kids when he says he could find the jewel, where the kids have the jewel, and Gargoyle knows this because that's after the whole monster thing, the whole spell casting thing. And he said, "Did you see kids? Yeah, they have the jewel. Go find the children." Like, he's literally just an idiot. I mean, he's an idiot, but there are some points where he's not the biggest buffoon. Like, he realizes what's going to happen to him in a way, but he's stupid and clumsy and everything else. Just a standard idiot in a way, with not much of a personality. Like, oh, boss is going to be mad. Like, he literally has a voice kind of like that. Like, that's, like, as I said, like, for his first show, it is fine. For a show for kids, it's okay. And it's not, like I said, even for its time, it's not that terrible. But it's just, there's just characters in it that they just did the standard of it. The standard bully, the standard idiot sidekick, or servant. They call him servant. That's what it is. The bad guy who pretty much shows he's a bad guy, but can act okay when the time comes. Like, he always tricks. You're thinking, why would the kids... That is another thing with Tracy. Yes, back to Tracy again, and her complex. Gargoyle acts, saying, "Oh, I'm an elf, and this evil person put a spell on me and trapped me in here. Help me, children, or I will die. You can't leave him in here, Warren. Read it." "I don't know, Tracy. I don't like..." "Read it, Warren." And you know what happens? Yeah, because of Tracy and her non-fear complex, her brother's a monster. As soon as he starts yelling, though, they run out. Okay. Tracy, what, dear? What would happen if this guy gets out of this car and says, "Oh, help me. My puppy will be hurt if you don't get in here and help me find him right now." Slam! Yeah. I don't think you'd ever be found alive again. I mean, not only does she have a non-fear complex, but I swear she would help a stranger. A gargoyle was a stranger. Warren has better sense than this. You're his older sister. I know, guys, the biggest thing I'm doing is complaining about this one character right now, but come on, in this episode, she drives me with everything. That's the biggest thing that stood up to me in this episode, actually, was everything she did wrong. Because of her needing to help this poor creature, he turned into a monster. Her reactions to her brother being a monster, and seeing a ghost. Next to no reaction. Only a minor. That would be line saying she had no reaction at all. That she was just like that guy, your character from Sun and Moon. She has had more expression than that, but come on, not the proper expression. I mean, I'll admit, at least she has expression. Tracy. And she still, from what I've heard, she still hasn't reversed her brother's curse. In all the episodes they had. I mean, I know sometimes that's common, that it's never resolved, but... And also, I think the spell had flown out and into a vortex. Oh yeah, a vortex was summoned too. I think that was the biggest fear she had in this whole entire episode. And yeah, the house falls on them. Yeah, she says, "Oh, we gotta reverse the curse." Technically, the monster saved them all. Him and Johnny, actually. But still... I gotta seriously ask if the parents had skipped out on Tracy's "Now, dear, what do you do around strangers?" and skipped right to Warren. Because, honestly, I swear she'd be fine in the Saw house. Okay. she would probably die first, but I'm not saying she'd be fine, that she would live through it, but if it came to fear, no, I think she'd handle that fine. But okay, guys, just seriously, though, instead of my ranting on for Tracy for another 20 minutes, because, yeah, this is how long this is, as I said, the animation, for its time, wasn't terrible. I mean, obviously, there is better quality nowadays, and today, it would be good to watch for a little bit of a laugh, nostalgia, but I don't know if it would quite hold up, especially because it's not all that fast, it's not all that action-y, in a way. Yes, there's some action in the end of it when they're trying to get the jewel and the book from I know I butcher his name, but it's hard, because it's not exactly like a gargoyle, it's gargoyle, we'll just say, and his servant. That was like the biggest action. Okay, that and Warren running from Billy Castleman and hiding and turning into the monster, but there really was no real action. So those kids nowadays that want to see constant action and flashes and that, this may not be for them. But like I said, like if you just want something different and more slow pace and easier to understand, then it's fine. I'm not a reviewer like some of the critics are, so I can't really judge in a way. But just when I do these reviews, I do them on how I feel about these episodes alone, and I enjoyed it fine. Yeah, besides the rant about Tracy, there was just some things with her that just rubbed me the wrong way in this episode. I'm not saying she's a completely bad character, but in this episode, but it's a pilot, guys. 3 years until the actual season 1 begins. So as episode 2 goes on, and guys, I don't think I'm going to review that for a little while. If I do, maybe I'll catch up in the series and see if it holds up. I'm probably going to bite myself in the ass for saying that, but as I said, I hope you did enjoy this review. I know it was more ranty, and we'll call it a rant review more than anything, but I actually enjoyed making it. I watched 2 different episodes, and maybe I'll review the Hey Arnold one someday. You know, I don't know if it will be soon after this, or what, for contrast. But actually, to be fair, there was a little more context for this video, from this episode, than it would have in Hey Arnold. I don't know why, but just to me, I thought of more to say about this. Hey Arnold just seemed, oh, it was fine. Oh, there was just one particular scene, but that was it, honestly. So, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel and you like what you see, please subscribe, because we're close to 100 subscribers, so please help me get there. I would appreciate it a lot. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you'll know when new videos are coming out. And I will see you guys in my next video.